Hello and welcome back to Heroes End Gaming. I'm Josh, and today we are going to be talking about WarMachine, James Rhodes in AMG's Marvel Crisis Protocol, new edition. Everyone's been getting it around the world except for me, but that's okay. We're going to break him down and see what he's going to be all about. Today we're going to look at his stat card, analyze his tactics, and see what affiliations he really wants to be a part of. With all that in mind, let's get down to it. Here's WarMachine, James Rhodes. He has a 5 stamina, a medium move, 2 height, 3 threat, a 4 physical defense, and then 3 energy and mystic defense. So 3 threat is a very nice cost-efficient character cost. With the 4 physical defense, that puts him high in the durability. One of his superpowers later on will even put him more on the durability line. There's also no difference between his healthy and injured side of his card. So with that in mind, let's start digging into his attacks. First up, we have Metal Storm, which is a physical attack, a beam 3, strength 5, 0 cost. It's his builder, so any damage that is dealt with this attack is going to gain him power. It also has a wild bleed effect. So if you roll a wild, you're automatically going to give the bleed effect to the target of the attack. Which this is a beam 3 builder. This is amazing. The only other character who we've seen have a beam builder currently is Vision, and he's capped off at once per attack. Granted, he does have a beam 4 attack, but this is going to possibly allow WarMachine to gain a stupid amount of power. So his next attack is going to be Rocket Pod, which is another physical attack, range 4, 4 dice, 0 power. It has the innate ability of Barrage. After this attack is resolved, this character may make another Rocket Pod attack. This attack must target another character within range 2 of the original target, and this additional attack does not have the Barrage. So at first glance, Rocket Pods doesn't really seem like much. But that bump up from range 3 to range 4 from his builder to Rocket Pods is actually a significant range difference. Being able to attack 2 targets as well with one attack is a huge benefit. With some of the synergies I have in mind for tactics later on, Rocket Pods is going to play a key role. His next attack is called Empty the Clip, which is a physical attack, range 3, 8 dice for 4 power. It has an innate ability when rolling additional dice for crit results. During this attack, roll 2 dice instead of 1. That's amazing. And after this attack is resolved, this character suffers 1 damage for each critical in the attack roll. It sounds pretty good. It's a range 3, so you're not super far, but it's a nice distance. 8 dice base, you can't really argue with that. And with the extra dice from the crit conversions, you can easily get, on average, 10 to 12 dice just from his innate abilities with this attack. The suffering damage is a little bit of a downside, but that's the cost of having possibly a really high spike for a physical attack. His first innate power is going to be titanium armor plating. When this character would suffer damage from an enemy effect, reduce the amount suffered by 1 to a minimum of 1. He also has flight. So that's what I was talking about, his durability being built up from some of his innate powers. He basically has 1 block built in-ish for each one of his defenses. James Rhodes is pretty close to Iron Man.
You Tony Stank.
Yes, this is Tony Stank.
He's got 3 cost, 5 health on both sides, 4 physical, 3 of his other 2 defenses. Rocket Pods is very similar to the Energy Blast. Empty the Clip is very close to Unibeam. So what are some tactics we can use with WarMachine to bring him over the edge? First thing that comes up to mind is Doom Prophecy. Obviously, it's a restricted card, and you're going to be wanting to factor that into your list creation, but with both Metal Storm and Rocket Pods being attacks that can proc multiple times a turn on different targets, Doom Prophecy is easily a very good pick for WarMachine that can turn his Metal Storm into a 9 dice beam 3, which he gets a bunch of power and hand out the bleed effect. Rocket Pods becomes a range 4 8 die attack that attacks 2 people. This man is going to be throwing out damage like a crazy person. He doesn't quite have the range like Hawkeye where he can sit back at range 5 and start picking at people, but the range 4 Rocket Pods and the beam 3 is more than enough to warrant him being up there with Doom Prophecy. His titanium armor plating is still going to help him survive those physical attacks that do hit him. Another tactic card that could be good for him is Blind Obsession, letting him get just 2 extra dice all game is pretty astounding. He's a cheap character. He still has his titanium armor, so when he is reduced in those defensive roles, he still has some innate defenses to keep him up. The downside for WarMachine is he's got no control. He kind of suffers the same effects that Iron Man has, where he looks like a beatstick. He's got some pretty good attacks, but he's got no way of displacing himself or the enemy. If he needs to move into position, that's one of his attacks that he would really like to be spending his actions on. Another issue is he doesn't have a really efficient way of spending power. His spender, Empty the Clip, is 4 costs, but with Metal Storm also being within range 3 and possibly hitting 2 to 3 characters with that beam attack, he's sure to have plenty of power. So what affiliations could WarMachine benefit from? First thing that comes to mind is not Captain America Steve Rogers. WarMachine obviously has no active or reactive superpowers that cost energy, so he's kind of out of luck when it comes to using Steve Rogers' leadership ability. Sam Wilson, however, he kind of fits the bill perfectly. He is a cheap 3-cost character with good durability. That advance from Sam Wilson's leadership ability is going to help WarMachine move up and possibly get into a position so he can use both of his actions to attack. Another team WarMachine could be a part of is Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
With his beam 3 attack, getting him power equal to his damage, and then +1 on top of that for each attack, he's looking at a tremendous amount of power being handed to him. Wakanda is also a nice affiliation for him since he is likely to have the power to spend during his attacks. Getting those extra rerolls for attack consistency would be amazing. Another affiliation could be the Guardians of the Galaxy, with Star-Lord's leadership ability of getting multiple rerolls a turn. He wouldn't really need it for defense due to his titanium armor plating and his pretty standard defensive stats, but getting all of those attacks, he needs a lot of rerolls, and the Guardians of the Galaxy can offer that to WarMachine. So that's my hot take on WarMachine James Rhodes. Tell me what you think in the comments. Did I hit this on the head? Did I miss anything? If you're liking the content of my videos, please consider subscribing, ringing the bell so that you get a notification of my next video. Thank you for watching Heroes End Gaming, a hero breakdown for Marvel Crisis Protocol. I've been Josh. Happy gaming.